Here, we'll just go ahead and we'll just get this thing started. So I've gone back and forth a few times. So before we get too far, just before I forget, because I'm really bad at forgetting that development points exist, we are going to bump up Mick's cornering speed. Sure, that'll help with qualies. Kevin doesn't have anything. So we have Theo as our backup. Not really any intention of putting him in or anything, but we have a bunch of people on. So what I was saying, we've looked at some different options. I'm personally I'm trying to stay away from Pierre, because he's, from everything I've seen, he's kind of been like super overpowered on this game. Other than that, we've also thought about Joe, because he's also very young, but obviously he's pretty highly rated and pretty good. So we were potentially thinking about replacing Kevin with Joe to replace that higher ranked person, and then because we did just re-sign Mick, and then try and ride out Mick for as long as possible, and then potentially from there look to see what shakes out going forward. So that's kind of my tentative plan right now, but we're trying to figure it out. That's for sure. Let's see if I can find I'm gonna have to move this message around a lot during the stream, but that's kind of the thinking we have right now. So this is our current lineup. I honestly forget where we're at. We're currently P6 in the constructors with 12 points, so it hasn't been the worst start, but it definitely has not been the best start. We're chasing Alpine, we're doing okay, but Mick is actually beating Kevin in the standings right now. Like, Kevin's only brought home 2 points, and one of those was a P10 finish with the fastest lap, so it was not the best finish. And Mick has also crashed out of a race already. It's been a rough year so far, but not today. Today we're going in with positive vibes, and good. Ooh, I moved the wrong thing. That's still the wrong thing. Holy, come here, you. Sticky right there. Car development. So that's a great question. What am I even working on right now? We're currently designing a new front wing and suspension, and making some new front wings and side pods. In terms of ranking, the rankings on the grid, where do you see that? Car analysis, so rank on grid. We're like right around, like just below mid pack. So we're definitely not the greatest, but at the same time, we're working on it. For this season, especially if we're going to end up getting a new car or a new driver for next season, I'm kind of going back and forth so far on trying to focus like so much on research for next year, and then really attack it next year. We don't have any technical regulation changes yet, so we actually don't know what we need to work on, but at the same time we definitely know we need a lot of upgrading in terms of top speed, so I think we'll just start with that. I mean, that's still pretty good. Our engine cooling is down, but I don't really care about that too much. Sounds good to me. Research on the move. Try not to spend all of my money too quickly. I like keeping a balance. One new rear wing is on. Race prep, we'll do this first. We can get into Q2. We know this 100%. One driver in 10th. I think I like that. We'll keep that there. Finish position strength of 12th. We're on 204. And we did another one. We're 15th for 3 in a row. On track. Perfect. We're going to give it to Kevin. Yeah, they're both done. Let's go. Let's get into race weekend. Not bad. I got to 89. Sometimes that's all you can ask for. Moderate rain. Moderate rain to start quali, but let's get into it.
Ready to?
Alright, first things first.
Radio's good.
Alright.
They should be green now.
Basically, we're going to do like our first run and then just nothing else. Because unless we just end up at the bottom of the board at this point, then there's no point in going back out. So we're really only doing like one good lap here. Kev. Alright. We're going to hop on board with Kev and see if Kev runs into any issues. You grew up around it from like age 5 upwards. Nice. It's kind of funny. So, oh no. Oh man. I should have switched that out. Oh, nothing we can do about it now. You've been around for forever. That's awesome. It's funny, I grew up in Indiana, So I grew up literally like an hour away from the Indy 500. Yeah, that's kind of the whole other thing. I grew up. I don't know. My family wasn't really super into like motorsport, even though we grew up in Indiana for like the Indy 500 and stuff. Like we definitely are a state that enjoys motorsport probably more than most. But it was just never really a thing for my family, which is always really interesting to me, knowing now, looking back. I think that's also part of it for F1 in terms of like F1 stuff, where the time situation just never really worked. I think it was also that I don't know if F1 was really on TV much before a few years ago, right? Or I don't know the history of like media deals for F1 in the US, but I know ESPN picked it up recently, and I know their contract just like renewed. So, all right, we're doing pretty okay. Yeah, we're vibing, cool. The reason I watched Miami is because it was just on in the afternoon. I could just put it on.
I think that was a crash.
It is Sergio.
Now. So let's look at this. There's Sergio Perez.
Most of the races aren't that bad. I always big shunt for Sergio there. Most European races aren't too bad. I think it's typically on race days. If I wake up at 8, I think they usually start about 8 in the morning where I'm at. So it's waking up a little earlier on the weekends than I normally would have otherwise. But all in all, it's not too bad. It's honestly kind of great for Fridays and Saturdays too, because I can just kind of wake up and then I'll just like throw on practice, and then for Saturday I'll just kind of roll out of bed and watch quali immediately. The downside is if I oversleep, then I have to try and avoid the results of quali on Saturdays if I wake up late. So that's less than ideal, but at the same time it's okay. It works out. I would try and watch the races live, but if I miss quali, I'm usually not too.
Okay, and all the way to 0.
I'm usually not too disappointed. I'm curious, speaking of when races are on, I think Singapore is going to be the first one I can think of that's like truly like over there on like the other side of the planet. So I'll be curious to see like what time that comes on. I haven't looked yet. So that one I might be watching after the fact more than closer to live. So, but that, we'll see. Makes on his first lap. Got a pretty clean lap. Let's see how we compare here. Faster than Albon, slower than Ricardo. Probably about 6 a.m. That sounds about right. I know it's definitely going to be earlier, but I'm not sure how much earlier kind of it's going to be. All right, where's Kevin at? Kevin's flying. Kevin should be pretty clean through all of it. I guess I can look and see, can't I? I just had it pulled up and I closed it instead. Yeah, Mick should have plenty of time. We're going to hop on board with Kevin because he is the one that's further down and is definitely going to be the one to run into more traffic than not. Around the final corner and off we go. That's fine. Sectors. Let's see if we can take advantage of anyone's mistakes. Yeah, Mick's gonna cross the line. We're fine. Oh. Sorry again about my voice. I'm trying to keep it pretty low key. I normally try and be a lot more animated, a little more energetic, but it's been a bit of a time. And Kevin has gone yellow. I hate everything about that. Mick goes green. That's good. It does not look like Kevin is going to be improving here, but Mick goes green. That's good. Kevin does not improve, going yellows all the way around. So Kevin is out. Mick, you can hop on board with Mick here, coming around the last corner. Mick is through. Mick is through. Let's go. What was the, hold on, pause. What was the, oh. Pretty close. Hey, if we take those. Dude, Kevin is really leaving a lot to be desired this season. Alright, Mick, you're starting. You want to use a set of tires this time, I promise. Bump up the speed here a little bit. We're going to send Kevin now. Kevin, sorry, I'm so used to Kevin being the one in Q3, not Mick. We're going to send Mick. Hopefully catch a bit of clean air. Albon, don't fuck me. Daniel, you're fucking me. Oh god. All right. I mean, track times are going to be what they're going to be until the end of the session. So, yeah, we're not a full second off of Leclerc here. Mick goes green first sector. Things you love to see. Need to make up. I mean, Mick needs to go like tenths faster. I don't know if we're going to get tenths faster, but if we can out-qualify Albon, I think we'll be pretty A-okay with that. Goes green, green. Wonder how much. In theory, we should be going a lot faster than before because of traffic. Oh, make up into P5. Let's go, Mick. Let's go. Everyone else comes across the line. Slowly falling back down the order. Slowly falling back down the order. Ocon displays Albon. Not last. Not last. Let's go. P9 for Mick. P11 for Kev. On to race day.
It's race.
Little wet race. Wet race around Miami potentially. It's not showing rain. Yeah, so it's not showing rain, which is good. Doesn't mean there won't be, but it's not showing, which I guess is the good part. Here's always my problem with like the one-stop strats. Like one-stop strats that allow for like almost no like big pushes. We'll do the opposite with Kevin here. Oh no, sorry. We'll do the opposite with Kevin here. End on the medium, start on the hard, push you out like all the way. I mean, they're a world potentially. The goal is to play track position with Kev. Or getting after it with Mick. I'm gonna leave. We'll push fuel. I'll actually deploy with Kev too, but we'll leave his tires on normal.
It's a bit of a cloudy day for the race, but the atmosphere is
Bit of a cloudy one.
One of the newest races in F1, and hopefully one of the most exciting too. It's the Miami Grand
5
Prix.
red lights.
It's lights out,
And away we go. Come on, Mick. Up it up to 2 times speed. Mick up into P8, getting past Danielle.
An overtake.
Kevin still P12, still vibing. Kev's vibing. He's peeking though. He's seeing if he can make a move. We're gonna lower his ERS output back to neutral, probably around 75%. So basically, probably like the end of the straight. If I had to guess. See if he can make a move here. Nah, it's just a long line. It's a very long line. I'm actually gonna leave him on deploy for this lap as well. Let's see if we can open up a gap behind and break that second barrier behind if we can to Joe and the Aston. If we can do that down these straights and get a tow behind Gasly here, then we might be vibing. Nick's kind of doing the same thing to Ricardo up ahead too, so we may actually deploy with him as well now. Emily make a move around the outside? Thought about it. Alright, we've broken the 1 second barrier behind to Joe. That's good. Mick is going to probably be caught in the back, a bit of a train once DRS gets enabled, which is a-okay by me. Alright, Kev is going back to neutral. It's about to go down. DRS enabled.
DRS is enabled.
Oh, Mick is really on that. Oh, Mick's up into 7th.
An overtake there.
How did I missed it?
Now just focus on the hats.
On the inside. Dude, Mick is performing this season much better than Kevin is.
And there they go. Moving
Yo,
up
Javier, how you doing, my guy? Welcome in.
the driver's team there cheering them on.
How you doing this morning for you? This evening for me? In case you can't read my morning, I'm dealing with some throat stuff, so it's gonna be a bit of quieter vibes. So nothing too exciting today. Yo, Mick is on a mission right now. Mick up into P6.
Is that a new race position for Haas?
You just saw it, so I'm not gonna watch it again. Kevin, how you doing? Still has DRS on those ahead, but man, the pace is monstrous.
Yep, low back.
It's fine. I'll actually harvest with Mick a little bit. And we get a fastest lap.
Just need to charge up.
Good. You're starting to work in a supermarket. Let's go. Get a little bit of that extra bunts. A little bit of that extra little cashola. We love that. First job kind of deal? Is that what this is? Or are you a seasoned veteran when it comes to the workforce so far? Open up that wing K-Mag. Let's get it. Kevin's just like right at the end of the DRS train, so he just needs to stay. He just needs to stay in it. And we're gonna sacrifice a couple laps and recharge DRS. I used a little too much to start the race, unfortunately. But Kevin's up into P11.
That sounds like someone's gone wide there.
Mick's still hanging out in P6. Alright, after this lap, we'll set them back to neutral. Nah, you're new. It's kind of what I figured, but I never know. You know. You never know. Alright, Kev's going back to neutral. So it's Mick. James will hop back down. Watch Kevin's battle. Mick usually does pretty okay when you kind of just leave him on his own. Kind of falling off the back of the front pack, so we'll have to worry about that in a bit. We're also going to lower Kev's fuel a little bit, so. First job. I'm trying to think. My first job, I was actually a lifeguard at our city's pool. It was the first job. I actually did that for a couple of years in the summers and stuff. Wasn't too bad. Hi Kev, let's just get pulled along by Gasly here. All we gotta do is hang on to the back and hopefully we'll start to put in some work. What tires is everybody on? So we're the only ones with some push max and needs to catch up. So Kev's on a different strat than everyone else. So we're starting Kevin on the hards because he qualified behind Mick, and we're trying to do more split strategy stuff between the two drivers now. So for him, we're trying to go long with Kev. So if we just worried about getting pulled along by Gasly here, he'll drag us along back towards the front pack. See, we're already lapping faster than Albon, you know, about the same as Ricardo. So we're getting there. We're just kind of getting dragged along right now. It's early. We're okay. Mick, how you doing? Mick is firmly in a DRS train. We love to see it. Move you back down to standard just because you're just going to get dragged along as well. That's probably a good call. It's probably a good call. Oh yeah. Posture check. A big change I've actually tried to make recently is I like lean over onto like my desk and tables and stuff too much. So I've tried to actually like do more like straight arms sitting. It's actually been kind of nice. Kevin making a move down the inside. All right, we'll deploy with Kevin, see if we can put in a little bit of pace on this lap. We're not gonna push tires, but we can play around with his ERS and try to start to push more towards the front pack. We are lapping faster than Albon right now, so I mean we're 3 seconds back, but we're cutting in. Ever get like dry lips and so they start to like peel a little bit, so you kind of want to like tear it off, but at the same time you don't. That's kind of me right now. Hi Mick, let's close the gap. If they're fighting, we want to be right there.
Alfa Romeo just moved up a place.
Okay, so right there. We are getting dropped by the front group. Kev's lapping almost just as fast as Albon, but Gasly is definitely slowing us up. You're right. The problem is I don't really want to push him too much since we're on the opposite strategy, and the whole point is to stretch out. But if we get dropped too much, it's not going to matter. See what it looks like at lap 20, and we may make a decision from there. We may just box early and try and finish on mediums and go real long on mediums. We'll have to see. Nick, how you doing? Still just getting dragged along, huh, Mick? The player almost gave us an opening. No. Hey, there we go. Yeah, you can see it all the time. Hopefully. Where are you at? Kevin's. All right, we're putting in some time.
Overtake there.
It looks like the medium's race like competitiveness is starting to fall off a little bit. Oh, crash! Safety car! Safety car! Yeah, what happened?
Car in the wall.
Albon crashed.
Let's see what happened there.
Albon.
Now look at this.
Oh.
Daniel Ricciardo involved. Here.
Uh oh, McLaren on McLaren violence. McLaren on McLaren violence. Oh no!
And there's the collision.
Those
It
are
caused
those are
absolute
called
carnage.
free race positions. We love the biddies. Conserve fuel, and if he drops back, push it back on neutral. That's fair. We'll leave it on balance. It looks like they've been able to. It looks like they've been able to save fuel pretty effectively. So we have to imagine Norris is boxing here. Yeah, they're just letting us go. Let's go. Kevin up into the points. I'm now. It's hard. Since we put Kevin on the opposite strategy, we can't really turn him into it. I don't think we can.
That's a new race position for Haas.
I don't know if we can turn him into a 2-stop. Or if we continue with the 1-stop. I don't know. How are we lapping compared to Albon now? We're at least that last lap. We still lapped faster than Albon. Although Gasly here is probably going to be our undoing more than anything. And now we have a Ferrari behind us. When did that happen?
Looks like that was a position gained for Alfa Romeo.
It's pretty back there though. We'll stay on board here with Kevin. Bully him out, Kev. Bully him out. And now we're lapping the same as Albon. Do we want to take bets on how long it'll take the Ferrari to close this 4.5 second gap? I don't think it'll be long. Alonso and Leclerc are literally just fighting so much. Continue with Magnussen on 1-stop, otherwise we ruin his race because you put him on this. Yeah, that's ultimately the same thinking. Yeah, you can't. If we could put him back onto another set of hard tires, we could. But there's no way we're going to stretch a medium, and converting a hard tire into a 2-stop just does not seem like the move. I don't remember seeing very many people start on softs. That's a very early stop for medium runners. I guess it is like the bottom half medium runners. Honestly, I think as of right now, we're kind of just chilling. Gasly and I have closed up this gap on Albon. Gotten it closer down to 2 seconds, so we're kind of just chilling as of right now. What's wrong with you? Oh, your engine. We knew that. That's okay. We knew that was coming. Alright, at this point with Mick, we're not really in a competitive window on the tires to really push and attack, so we're kind of just getting dragged along right now, which is kind of perfect for our strategy. Kevin, we're still going long. This tire wear is pretty much bang on. I think that extra long stint of aggressive at the beginning probably didn't help, but we're going to be fine on fuel. VRS is a little low, but I really don't want to change it because Mick is getting precarious behind us, Alpine and Ferrari, and Kevin's dropped off to Gasly, so now Kevin is all about going long. I may actually try and close this 4/10 back up, because the longer that we can get dragged along by Gasly, the better. Especially since he is closing the gap to Albon ahead, so if we can just continue to get dragged along, that's better than not. We're not gonna have DRS here. I'm gonna manually, yeah. I was kind of hoping he would have a little low. Yeah, once we get him back into DRS, we'll move him probably down to light, and we'll hope for a safety car in the second half. Kind of wish Kevin had been at like 65% DRS rather than 30. I honestly might leave him on Harvest, and we're gonna jump a lap. We're just gonna jump 1 lap. Right here. Oh, now Kevin's like 2 seconds off. It was ambitious. Let's see if it pays off. We'll deploy down the straights and see if this can close the gap at all. ERS does wonders. Mick is in his pit window, totally fine. He is still exactly where we want him to be. We'll now start paying closer attention to what the rest of the field does in terms of pitting. Okay, let's close it up a little more than 9/10. Right. DRS, close up the gap a little bit. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Kevin is now right up back on the tail of Gasly, so he should get dragged along with DRS and conserving tires more. Mick, I mean, we're pretty much bang on with Mick. Everyone's gonna probably start pitting soon. Gasly's close to the gap to Albon to almost a second, so we're right there with him. Alright, Mick is down to 30%. You have some good strategies for sure. It's not bad. I mean, you definitely have to start to get a lot more creative when you get to one-stop strategies. Once you get to one-stop strategies, it's really all about managing everything more than you think. I'm guessing... Do we pit Mick early? Do we pit Mick early? Like, do we pit Mick this lap? Because Verstappen just pit, which means... And Mick is also under 30%. So I think we're actually looking at maybe pitting Mick early to try and cover off everyone who's probably going to pit this lap and gap all the people who are behind. So I'm actually going to box Mick this lap. And we'll box Mick this lap. Cover off any undercutters or hopefully any overcutters. Behind Kevin is vibing. Yeah, Kevin is caught up to this DRS train and is now conserving tires and is doing fine on fuel. So Kevin is in the long game. Kevin also has the benefit of an almost 11-second gap behind to Zhou. So Kevin, I'm a little less worried about. We'll stick with Mick. Love the biddies. Yeah, he's gonna crash. He's put him in for too long. Agreed. So looks like looks like a lot of boxing this lap. So hopefully we don't get caught up here. Perfect. Right back out behind the two we were. That'll be good. Back to balance fuel. I'm gonna conserve through these couple of turns here. Try and build up a little ERS, but we're definitely gonna want to push to get back towards DRS range if we can. But we'll see what kind of lap times we're looking at here. Kevin, how you doing? Kevin's up to P5. Obviously is not boxed yet. Everyone else boxed at this point? Yeah. Norris hasn't, but he boxed earlier for his crash.
Energy's good.
Oh, I forgot I left Kevin on charge. That's my B. That is my B. So Russell also is not pit and Ocon has not pit. So I think we gotta make these tires last a lot longer than I thought. Okay. So Kevin, we are entirely vibing. And Mick's a little off the pack. Let's deploy down the straight and see if we can close the gap up to Alonso a little bit. %, we'll leave it at that. Kevin up to P4. We're gonna beat Ocon out of the pits. Yes, we are. Mick back up into P7. Ocon comes out 6.5 seconds behind. Perfect. Kevin, well off the pace. And now, besides Russell, who's got to be pitting this lap, like, has to be. Yeah. I was gonna say, that's a bit of a bold move to not pit that lap. Let's see, Verstappen will take over the lead. Russell's gonna come out in third. So, I mean, realistically, that's a great result for them. K-Mag, still vibing. At this point, I may move Kevin back to standard tires just because we don't want to fall off too much as of right now, and we don't want to allow the new fresh tires behind to catch up too much. So I'll move him back to standard and actually might like deploy down the straights a little bit rather than push tires. Hey, how you doing? Leclerc catch up so he gets dragged, and if Mick catches up, just tell Max and like that's true. We could do that. I think at this point though, like I always feel like if you run the hard tire first strat, it's always very easy to get kind of dropped. So I kind of want to keep up as much pace with Kevin as possible as we go, primarily just using the ERS down that back straight essentially. Like Leclerc is going to catch us no matter what, and so I'm trying to keep as much pace as possible to trying to super overcut everyone behind him, who we're going to be trying to like beat out basically. Because I mean the Ferrari is going to catch us, like that's just facts of life. And even leaving it on deploy, we're still losing time to Russell. We'll leave it deploy on this lap, and we'll move it to harvest next lap probably, and we'll kind of just do this until we hit Kevin's pit stop. I mean, even on deploy, Leclerc's already made up so much time. All right, now Kevin goes to harvest for a lap. Signs is 7.7, 7.8 behind Mick. How you doing, Mick? Chilling? Mick's tires are much better than Signs. But Signs was had to have been one of the ones that pitted very early in that first round that I just missed. He loved the biddies. Yeah, I think Mick is pretty much going to end up net P6 here because Kevin obviously still has the box. So I think Mick made up all of his positions, you know, pretty much a while ago. So I think Mick has a pretty solid. Oh, there goes Leclerc, by the way. Honestly, though, if we can get dragged along by Ferrari, I would not be upset.
Ferrari, advance the race position.
Yeah, I think Mick's race is pretty much set in stone from here. I mean, he's just going to vibe all the way to the end. Kevin is the one that we need to worry about the most, because he's the one that has the most to lose here. Because, I mean, what are we looking at? A pit stop's like 20-something odd seconds. I mean, we're realistically looking out coming out here probably around P11 or 12. So if we can get dragged along by Ferrari and try and increase the pace a little bit, then I wouldn't be upset. One fear with covering off Ocon is if Sainz kind of drags Esteban and Gasly and Albon up with him. But I'm also wondering if this battle here will kind of keep Carlos behind a little bit longer than he normally would. But I mean, there's only 24 laps to go, so we'll have to see. But yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot more we can do with Mick, unfortunately. Thankfully, though, Leclerc should drag us along fairly easily here. And we're already, I mean, that last lap, even with a little bit of ERS, the point we're lapping 4/10 slower than Mick. Faster than Alonso, though, so there's always that. We don't want to pass Leclerc. I want to get dragged along by Leclerc. Honestly, I might just see how long Kevin can get dragged along with ERS or DRS. And maybe try and just run him as long as possible and hope and pray that he doesn't crash with bad tires. Although he is just getting absolutely dropped right now. Never mind, we'll be boxing Kevin next lap. Realistically, we should be boxing it this lap. Realistically. I can have box this lap. Go ahead and deploy the rest of the way in. Alright, no DRS, but that's okay. Hit him next lap, you think? I mean, we're already out of DRS. Alonso is caught up significantly. I think if we're gonna pit, it's gotta be now, because we're only gonna get slower. Like, we've already lost so much time. So I'm gonna box in this lap, and then or yeah, no, we boxed in this lap. We got, as soon as it hit 30%, Leclerc dropped us like it was nothing. So we'll box in this lap, and we will rage. Our box has to be all the way at the end because, of course, yeah. Looks like P11 is where we'll come out here, hopefully. Yeah, P11 here, so If Kevin just needs to make up 8.5 seconds, that's all, on a DRS train. Easy. So it looks like Kevin may be ending up outside the points here, but you know, we were hoping for a free stop with a potential safety car, so that's going to be what we're going to be. But let's see what happens here with Mick, who is lapping 0.2 slower than Alonso. I've had to pee for like 10 minutes, so I'm going to be right back. So keep an eye on everything. Javier, you're in charge. Okay. Realistically, it doesn't look like I missed much. Ocon and Sainz are fighting. There's that. Mick dropped 0.3 behind. He loved the biddies. Did he get the wall a little bit? That doesn't surprise me. Seems about right. Kevin, now the 9-second gap, so unfortunately the reverse one stop doesn't seem to really have worked out for Kev. I think just not being in this DRS train behind Mick is just really what hurt Kev there. A free pit stop with a safety car would have been mint, but just did not seem to be in the cards. I'll bump up the speed a little bit, just because I don't think really a whole lot is going to change. So unless something comes up, we'll keep you know, we'll make sure nothing goes awry. But I think this race is primarily over. We might have been able to make something happen with Kevin and ERS, but I think all in all, I don't think we're gonna be able to charge enough and deploy effectively enough to make up the ground. Unless Kevin is just doing godly on tires, then we could potentially just run him on aggressive. We'll put Kevin on aggressive tires for a few laps and see if that does anything for him. Kind of cover up this gap at all. Mick looks like he has P6 pretty locked up here. That 7-second gap behind doesn't really look like it's getting closed too much. It looks like Sainz and Ocon are fighting enough that I don't think Mick is in too much danger.
We've just had a car run wide.
Not the Williams. Kevin has closed that gap down to 6.7, so although we don't really have the fuel advantage here, I'm wondering if we could potentially like run it on aggressive tires but save fuel for a couple laps and see how that affects everything. Kevin's flying. Hello. He's flying. Oh, the back marker. The back marker slowed everyone else up. That was like a full second he just saved right there. I don't know if you saw that. I mean, Kevin. Now he's losing a little bit of time. They're pitting. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. There's 4 people doing a 2-stop, including Sergio Perez and Sainz. Kevin into the points. Let's go. When Dom win his 1.7 out. So I've heard. I don't know, and I don't think they've announced when. I've heard it's gonna come maybe this week. Maybe this weekend. This coming weekend. I heard towards the end of September is I think about when they were planning for 1.7 to come out, but I don't know if they've set an actual day yet. Can't wait for it though. More stuff is always good. I'll never complain. All right, I think we may have just secured a. Never mind. I was about to say I think we secured a double points finish until Kevin decided to run wide. That's cool.
I think we've had a car run wide.
Yeah, I know, we saw. It's fine. Kevin's still got 13 seconds back to Norris though, so I think we might have a double points finish here. We have 10 laps. Ocon's 10 seconds behind. Sainz is 13.5 seconds behind Kevin. I think we're vibing. Definitely gonna make sure Kevin has enough fuel to last.
I think someone's run wide.
Ricciardo runs wide. Why are you so fast, man? Why he's gotta be so fast, man? I mean, we love the biddies. This is why we might be getting rid of Kevin. Yeah, I think we're gonna do one more race. I hopped on early because I gotta hop off a little early, but we're gonna do another race after this for sure.
Let's take a look at the replay. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here.
Literally all Kevin had to do is not that. That's literally all he had to do is not that. Major front wing damage. Like, how major? Motherfucker, there's 6 laps left. Motherfucker, there is 6 laps left. Sainz is 2 seconds behind. Sainz is gonna catch us. I'm not pitting him. He did this to himself. He did this to himself. He gets to fend off the Ferrari now. Good luck, Kevin. Great. Fantastic.
Oh, and Ferrari just gained a place.
See, this is the kind of shit Mick would do in season 1. Like, Kevin would be solidly in the points, and Mick would be like in P10. We'd be looking totally fine. All he had to do is not that, and then, oh my god, we're gonna lose out to Vettel too. Literally. I mean, save the components. Conserve fuel, finish. You're gonna finish, by god, but... It's so frustrating. That's so frustrating. Who knows? Safety car this lap? Safety car?
That's a position gained for AlphaTauri.
Piastri, I've thought about Piastri. Like, Piastri is one of those interesting ones.
We love the biddies.
So what, after Miami is...
A position gained for Alfa Romeo.
What is after Miami? Imola, right? No, not Imola. It's, Spain.
He's good.
Spain is after Miami. Spain is after Miami. Yellow flag. Safety car. Safety car.
They crashed out.
Twin crash.
Here's the replay. Now we see the Williams here.
We're going to Spain, even though we're already there without the S.
Dear me, they won't have been expecting that.
That was tough to see. I'm sorry you guys had to see such a horrific crash by the Williams driver. Yeah, I mean, we're chilling to the end here.
Great overtake.
Save the components as much as possible. Solid points for Mick. Disappointment from Kevin. He rounds the final
It's
corners.
Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton with the win today.
Lewis beats Verstappen. Interesting.
So that is checkered flag, but you can keep pushing.
Solid points for Mick.
That was great. Thank you.
Solid points for Mick.
He's living the dream. Exceptional work from Mick Schumacher.
Yeet. Great result for Mick.
Haas there having a very successful day at the races.
Just a really solid showing out there, which is exactly what they needed.
Good job,
And they're in
guys. Good
sixth
job.
place in the constructor standings at the end of this weekend.
Forgot to pay attention to how... I mean, Alpine had a great day because Fernando finished above me and Esteban finished behind me, so that's a great day for them. Mick gets 8 points. It's great. We lose 8 points to Alpine ahead, but continuing to widen the gap behind, so... Rough one to say the least. Any development points, please? No? Okay. Congrats Mick on your 250k.